It's me, Mary Mitchell. Hey, how you doing, guys? Okay, we're working on a project today. I actually finished it, and it was interesting. It was lots of fun and took a long time. It was putting gold leafing, sheets of gold leafing on this piece of canvas, and you know, I never did it before, so I really wanted to try it. I have had this in the back of my mind for a long time to try. So anyway, let's get to the point. It takes a long time. It's not easy. It's not easy. They make it look easy, or it's me. It doesn't matter. Speaking for myself, it's not easy to do. And if I sound tired, it's because this took me all day. There was a lot of things I didn't understand, and I hope that I clear it up. I'm gonna do a voiceover, as I often do when I do tutorials. But this, I'm really happy with the way this came out. This has a sealer on it. And the funny thing about this is when you get to the part of me taking out this tiny tube of sealer that was in the Mona Lisa sample pack that I got, I said, this is like, I'm never gonna be able to cover this thing. Anyway, it did, and it didn't discolor and it didn't tarnish it. It's imitation gold, it's not real gold. Maybe someday somebody will come along down the road when I get really good at this and say, hey, you know, here's $1 million, do a really giant piece of real gold. But it's hard to all joking aside, it's really hard to work with. It's very, very delicate, very light, feather light. And you're gonna see throughout the video, and I'm gonna do a voiceover and I'm gonna explain to you what I'm doing. I hope I cover everything. I hope I cover all the points, and I'm gonna try to when I explain all of this to you, because there's a lot to this. And what I don't, you know, of course I'll edit it and I'll listen to what I say, and sometimes when you're doing a video you think, oh, I forgot to say this, I forgot to say that, which is why I always look at more than one video when I'm learning how to do something. And because I always learn something from everyone that I watch from. So people have different ways of doing things, and a lot of times it's from trial and error, and they do what works for them. So I wanted to do it by the book because it was my first time, and that's what I did. Okay, this canvas I already put the adhesive on it, and it's ready for the gold leaf to be applied. So let's begin. So I start to take my gold leaf. It's very fine. I found in the beginning it got a little easier as I went along, but it's very delicate. It tears very easily, and I was trying to figure out the best way to apply it. The beginning started off a little rough, and I felt myself get a little bit of a handle on it, but it was a slow process, which is the reason it took, you know, of course, that it takes so long when you're first trying to learn something. So here I'm holding up a sheet so you can see, and you can see right away, you know, it tears, and right away I'm having a little bit of trouble with it. But as I watched people do the videos, excuse me, as I watched them do it, I noticed that when they applied the gold leaf, they generally used the pieces that were at the bottom of the, I guess, the pad. They overlapped the pieces as well. So I went a little overboard on that side, overlapping it. But I suppose 1/4 of an inch would be plenty. There's probably people who do it who probably do less. I don't know. The other thing I want to mention is that I regret that I did not paint the canvas. I meant to paint it gold underneath and let it dry. Of course, you have to let it dry before you apply the gold leaf. At least that was the method I was using. So here's a good. That was actually a good shot of how I was doing it, or how I was trying to do it. So to get back to my point about painting underneath it, when you do that, whatever color you decide, if you know what your palette will be, and you paint the canvas underneath it, should you have some of the canvas show through from pieces that tear, or maybe you don't overlap enough. I mean, anything can happen. It's like I say, it's very, very delicate. It's less apt to kind of be so glaring. It doesn't make, I guess, that much of a difference if you're intending to paint over it or paint on it, paint part of it, paint on it. So anyway, the question that I searched for on a few sites was, do I have to seal this first before I paint on it? Will the paint, when you're putting varnish on something, you can paint on it, but it's not the same, not quite the same as painting on a canvas without anything on it, let's say. So, and the answer is, if it's pure gold, like if you're using gold leaf that doesn't have as much. This is imitation gold, so it's a lot of copper in it, basically, and no gold. It just looks like it. But if gold itself, it doesn't tarnish ever. So you don't have to worry about that. You can still do it, but you don't have to worry about it. You can do it to protect it. It's probably a good idea, and now that I think about it. But as far as, because it's so fine, but as far as, worrying about it tarnishing or being affected in a negative, oxidizing in a negative way from acrylic paints, because I read that they have ammonia in them, which I actually didn't know that it affects the metal, the imitation, in that way, that it tarnishes and oxidizes and does all kinds of, not good stuff. So, yeah, you need to seal it. So that's that was the answer. So that was the answer that, like I said, I felt more comfortable about painting, on top of this gold leaf, knowing that I wouldn't be negatively affecting it. So now what I'm doing here is called burnishing, I believe it's called. And so, I've applied the adhesive, I've rubbed it in with the tissue paper. You saw my hands as I was applying it. But this part is very important. It's very important because you're really helping the gold leaf to stick better and smoother. You're making it more smooth onto the canvas. It's a very important step, which I did not know. And so don't skip that part. Now the brush I'm holding up, after you get done burnishing it, and I think you can probably even see the difference since I've done that, is what you want to do next is get a very soft brush. I saw one artist use a makeup brush. I have a blending, I think it's called, it's a blending brush. And I decided to use that. So I tried a couple and I finally settled on one that I really, I had a few of them that I think I don't think I stick with this brush, but no matter. You want it to be soft. You want it to be very, very soft so that when it touches this very delicate gold leaf, it does not hurt it or tear it, even though you've burnished it and you've really, you know it's stuck on there very good. Now, I kid you not, what I'm doing here, taking off the excess gold, every channel I went to said that this part was the most satisfying part of the entire process. And I have to tell you, I agree. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed that part. It was fun to see. It was really fun to see. It was fun to see, even though it came out less than perfect, the first time around, of course. And I'm sure that, people make mistakes all the time. But it is very satisfying to see the excess come off and to see the pieces sort of, just, just lying there next to each other and looking so smooth and shiny. It was really enjoyable to see, and it was enjoyable to do, and it was extremely satisfying. Sort of like popping those bubbles, when you get something, the shipping bubbles, the shipping plastic bubbles, that kind of a thing. But you can see what I'm doing here, and I'm removing all the excess gold right now, and it's fun, it's satisfying, and it's probably the best part of the entire process, honestly. Well, as I continue to take the gold off, I can see some of the parts where it didn't quite, some of the canvas does show through. It's not a lot at all. Very, very little, that I can see came through. So I was very happy with it for my first time, except the sides. They were a bit of a mess, but I fixed that toward the end. Again, not perfect, not bad. So here's what it looks like. Not too shabby for a first timer. I want to show you something that I did. I'm going to get rid of all these little pieces here. And I want to show you what I got and what I bought. So what I bought was the Mona Lisa Starter Gold Leafing Kit. And the bottles are all over the place. It comes, of course, with the gold leafing. It comes with the adhesive. It comes with something called a antique glazing. It comes with the base coat, which is a pretty brick red, which in retrospect I realize I could have painted the canvas with, and if that was part of my color palette, and a sealer. You don't get much of any of this, so you really couldn't do a very big piece of canvas on this. But it was a sample kit. I mean, it was a starter kit to give you an idea. And I also bought a big bottle of adhesive, which I hold up to show you, which I'm really glad that I did. Okay, so now you can see it better. You can see where the marks are that didn't. And like here, it still feels tacky, but not quite enough. I guess I missed it or something. Anyway, it's very delicate. I also got this because I'm kind of nervous about using brushes, and this is an adhesive pen, and there's glue in it, I think. And so, yeah. So you use this, and I think what I can do, but you know, it's just as easy to use a very delicate paintbrush as well. And honestly, I think I have more faith in a paintbrush. But I'll show this to you on the side. Oh, look at this stuff flying everywhere. But see, this side came out pretty good. It's not bad. I don't want to lay it on the side either, though. But let's just use this just because. Let's just use it, just so we can say we tried it. I'm going to shake this up, and I'm going to put a dab right here where I missed, and I'm going to put one of these pieces on it. But you have to wait, so I'm going to turn the camera off, because one artist uses a blow dryer, but if I use a blow dryer around this stuff, it's going to go everywhere. So I'm going to allow myself the 15 minutes because I have to put my groceries away anyhow. Okay, so let's do that. And I already see the glues coming down at the bottom. Can you see that? If you can see it. But so if we did it on like, it's sort of, there it is. See it? You can probably see it there coming down. It's almost like those pens where you go down like this. Yeah, it's really gooey. More gooier than what's in the bottle. What a shame I have to waste that, but that's okay. It's all for posterity. So let's put some on this piece here. Now, you know, that's the other thing is he said, don't leave a puddle. You don't want to leave a puddle, and this is actually leaving a puddle. So I'm gonna gently touch it with my finger. And I can see how okay, that's it. I'm not doing any more with this pen. Well, let's go down here. Oh gosh, did you see that? Oh my goodness, let me use my finger. This will probably stick to the, now I have to give 15 minutes. And wow, stuff really comes out. So if I put it on my finger, oh my gosh, I really started something there. As I was putting stuff away, I realized that I think when people do these tutorials, I think they mean to say things or not, you know, I don't want to put words in people's mouths, but I think what some people, there's so many steps to some of this stuff that you really, it's easy to forget. You know, it's just really easy to forget. So one of the things that was important is that you have to wait 15 minutes. I probably did say this. One woman takes a blow dryer to it, and like I said, everything would fly around. But I don't know if I did say it has to be, don't touch it with your finger, or your fingerprint will actually show through, and you can see the detail of the canvas. So you can see how that would be true. So instead, you can probably hear that, and it's tacky to the touch. And when it is like that, and you've waited a sufficient number of time, it's okay to then put your foil over it. So while I finish up, one thing I did learn is that not only can you go over your mistakes again with some adhesive and reapply the gold leaf, you can do it as many times as you want, as long as you burnish it. It's very, very important to burnish it. So if you want to create extra texture, if you want to avoid, because you can sort of see the squares, but it doesn't detract at all from the beauty of what you're doing, especially if you're painting on it. And but you can use your imagination, and you can imagine all the possibilities of what you can do with gold leaf besides what they do with they put it on frames, they put it on furniture, they put it on mirrors. I mean, it's just a wonderful thing, and I think just your imagination can take you pretty far with this. It's exciting. Imitation. It looks so real. Okay, we're done with this part anyway. I'm gonna finish the rest up as I want to. I'm not gonna go crazy because it's my first one. Okay, so everything is still a mess because I've decided to forge ahead and use the sealer. So let's do it. Well, this is our test. It says to test first, guys, but this is our test. Okay, should a sealer be used on top of the metal leaf? Yes, the sealer will keep the metal leaf from oxidizing, tarnishing, like I read before. And then it jumps to, I guess I just have to brush it on. No, I'm not kidding you. It does not tell me how to put on the sealer. Oh my gosh, really? But I am going to stop and just make sure I don't have to mix it with, it's pretty thick. It's very thick actually. Sort of like a varnish. And there is something inside it. Actually, that's on the outside. It must be a piece of metal leafing. It's almost like glue. So I have to stop and find out why and if I'm doing it the right way. I figured, okay, brush on the sealer. That's the answer. With soft brush. So I'm cleaning up. So here I'm just saving my some of the gold leafing in a jar, and I'm going to keep doing that because you can do so much with it. Okay, guys, everything's cleaned up. I was really struggling with the soft brush. How soft? How big? How like a varnish brush? This is gold leaf. It's delicate. How soft do I go? How big do I go? Do I do this? Do I do this? I don't know. It's not a lot in here, so I'm gonna actually just put some in here like that. I hope this covers it. There's not a lot in here. They did not say to mix with water, so I read, and they didn't say to wet the brush either. So I'm not going to, and if I get it wrong, I get it wrong. What can I say? Hey, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Look, it worked. The sealer, it sealed it. It didn't change it. It didn't tarnish it. It didn't discolor it. It didn't. I had fears. I don't even see my brush strokes. Really. I mean, wow. Really. I don't know how I can get this to come up any better. But I'm super happy. Wow, that's a quite. Now you're gonna laugh because guess what? Remember I told you I was thinking about getting into this stuff? You're gonna laugh. Well, I laughed. Look what and I was complaining about that stupid little bottle. Look what I found. I ordered this. I ordered this in anticipation. This has got to be a few months old because now I remember ordering it because I was reading about how this is the best thing in lieu of anything else. So I went ahead and got it. I thought it was on sale or something. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But now I know why, because it's not, I mean, I'll see tomorrow, but yeah, no, it's great. It's perfect. I can't wait. I can't wait to paint on it. So I'm going to post this, and we did this. Super happy. Thanks, guys.